This will be a short and sweet, straight to the point video talking about how I use the KonMari method to help me in organizing my classroom. Here we go. So here are a couple of shots of my classroom before going through the organization method. As you can see, there's stuff everywhere, all kinds of categories. Normally when we clean by area, starting in one area of a room and moving all the way through it, or we go from room to room. The revolutionary difference between that method and what I have learned is that organizing by category is so much better because instead of continuously tidying, you only tidy up once. So the first thing that I did was write down every single category in all of the different areas of my classroom and divided those up into subcategories because when we tidy, we want to go category by category, not place by place. After deciding on your categories, you need to start taking things out of the cupboards and the cabinets and placing them in specific areas depending on what the category is. In my case, I happen to start with storage containers and also cleaning supplies. It's good to start with categories that are the easiest for you to sort through. So here are some baskets and containers because I have a lot of those. Posters, I had a ton of posters. And then here are the cleaning supplies that after throwing out all of the old ones, this is what I ended up with. Another category is personal items. And so after throwing away things that were expired and I really didn't need, this is what I have left. One thing to remember is that as you are pulling out all of these supplies, do your best to not get overwhelmed. If you know that you can only handle so much, then actually only do one category at a time. I did organize one category at a time, but I also emptied all of my cabinets and put them into categories. So as I was pulling them out, I was putting them with, say, school supplies, writing utensils, papers, books, posters, etc. As you are pulling out items from cabinets and cupboards, make sure that you look in every nook and cranny. That includes inside of your desk, on top of your desk, in drawers, in file cabinets, because sometimes even though it's a file cabinet, we may have other things besides files in them like random stacked papers and loose and lost paper clips and clothespins. So you want to make sure that you get all of your supplies out before organizing them. Also, during this video, keep in mind that I have an entire day dedicated just to this with no interruptions. I also have a second day, which will be coming up soon. So I finished organizing and sorting into categories on the first day, and then we will go ahead and move into day 2. So day 2, I was able to make some progress, as you can see in the cabinets, but also when you're in the middle of organizing, try not to get too discouraged. I know sometimes I'll be working and then I look up and think, did someone just come in here and dump a bunch of trash? But it's because I may get distracted going from one job to another job. And so really staying focused will be super helpful. All of the supplies that I pulled out yesterday and organized, I have put them in this cabinet. Going through, when I got to the category of papers and curriculum, I definitely realized that that would have to be a completely different job. I am going to sort through some papers that I have, but as far as notebooks and curriculum and things like that, that will be a job for another day or week because that's kind of monstrous. So I put all of the papers into a pile and I'm just sorting through based on which level it is. I teach a couple of different classes. Of course, I'm pulling out any trash or any empty extra file folders and setting them to the side. Throughout this process, I'm looking at the whiteboard where I have put the Post-its, which have the different categories and subcategories. And so I continue to go back to that and check those off. Here's a pile of the extra supplies that I found, and all of that is giveaway underneath the desk. So for a quick review, the first thing that you need to do is decide on what your categories will be. So you can figure that out by basically just looking in your desk drawer, looking on your counters, and see what is it that I actually have. The second step would be to write out those categories. I recommend Post-its with any subcategories listed just below it. The third thing that you want to do is go ahead and put those categories in order of the easiest to the most difficult and time-consuming. So in other words, you don't want to start with looking at student mementos because you may get distracted. Once you do decide on that, you need to pull out every single thing in that category so you can actually lay it out and see just how much of something that you have. You will be amazed. Additionally, keep in mind as you're sorting through all of your items that some of it is going to be trash, some of it can be donated to another person, and of course you have the things that you're going to keep. For the donation pile, try to keep things that you would want or appreciate if someone else was offering those items. So if it's trashy and broken, then you should probably just go ahead and toss it. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video and to listen. I tried to make it shorter than the first video and I was able to cut off a few minutes. And so if you want a more detailed version, please just click on the link above. And also if you would be so kind to subscribe to my channel. This is something new that I'm working on and I hope to help others get organized. And also if you would want to subscribe to the playlist to learn Spanish, here's the link for that. Thank you guys.